Volume come.
Problems for an experienced surgeon.
Yeah. So I'm operating right now, Senthil. I'll talk to you later. No problems, no problem. When it is ready, if you can send me a copy.
Saving lives while talking on the telephone presents no problems for an experienced surgeon.
Procedures each day.
Okay.
Because we have so many going, we don't have to start and stop as many times.
Okay. So everybody got that link that she's talking about, that when you have a large number of outpatients, she was talking about in the OPD outpatient department, then that enables you to do a lot of free surgeries. You guys get that? How does it happen? I'm asking this question, which are relatively simple ones, but I think that not many of you are from the business background, so that's why I just want to ensure that you guys are getting it. Secondly is a video, right? So it's not always that you are able to focus your attention on that. What else was happening? What is the most critical thing that is happening there? How do you make it viable? Again, remember, it is not a NGO. It's not depending on grants. It's a private enterprise. It has to break even, generate profit at the end of the day. How is it managing that?
Money and business.
Okay.
At the end, he talked about changing the source of money to the outpatient care.
Okay.
So he was making enough money from the outpatient care to support the inpatient.
Okay. Yeah. So that's kind of what she's talking about. You are right. I mean, anybody else picked up anything? Yeah.
They mentioned something regarding some sort of, I guess, foreign investment. Like he kept mentioning €2. I wasn't sure where that was coming from. Like €2 a day to maintain a certain hospital, especially in rural areas. And then, I guess.
So that was an insurance thing. We'll come to that insurance. You're right. There's also something of an insurance. There's an insurance scheme that is talking about. Yeah.
Well, some people are paying full price, so that covers people that aren't paying.
Okay.
Less.
Okay. So at the heart of this is a different model, which is very different from what we are talking about Celco. So just to summarize, put it one word, that's what we call as cross subsidy. Okay, so you have your rich patients, or probably the more apt term is non-poor patients, who give it to the hospital, and basically the fees that they are paying for the heart surgery, a part of it is being used for the poor patients. Okay? Now the question to you is that, as we know, the heart surgeries are expensive. So if I was a non-poor patient, I was a rich patient, and I have a heart problem, and I walk into Narayan Hridayalaya knowing that a part of my fees that I pay to Narayan Hridayalaya will be used to cross-subsidize or pay for the surgery of a poor patient. What do you think my reaction would be? Will I be delighted with it, or will I be unhappy with it?
You'd probably be like, hey, why do they have to pay so little or nothing and I'm paying so much for the same surgery?
Right? So that's one view, saying, I'm not very happy about it. As it is, I have a heart problem, right? Then you're charging me so much. And now you're saying that out of that, I'll also have to go and do philanthropy. I might not be very happy about it. How about you?
Otherwise, I think some people would say, I'm going to have to pay the same amount anywhere I go. I might as well go somewhere where it goes to help other people. Like, it's going to cost $30,000 no matter where I go, so I might as well go somewhere where it's going to help.
Okay, so that's the important part you're saying. You're saying that if what I am paying is same as anywhere else, then if part of that goes to help the poor, then I might just be very happy about it, right? Because I'm not paying extra, and I also have this warm fuzzy feeling that I am helping the poor. Because that might be an added benefit of that. Where do you think the reality is?
Didn't you mention that you reduce the cost of heart surgery in half?
Exactly, right? So actually what it does is, even at this price, they are actually paying less than the market price. So imagine that yes, I have heart problem, yes, I am paying quite high fees, but that price is less than what I would have paid in a comparable hospital in Bangalore itself. Now then, you have both the incentives, right? You have a financial incentive to go there, and you have a moral or a social incentive because you are saying that, well, you know, that money is going and financing a poor patient. How does he do that? That's what many of you have said. That he's saying, I will make the operations very efficient in my hospital. I will make it the most efficient operation in the world. Narayan Hridayalaya is the most efficient heart hospital in the world. Right? Their success rate, so they do more number of surgeries, and their success rate is higher than or equal to the best hospitals in the world. Okay, so that's a phenomenal stuff that they're doing there. Okay, I see a lot of hands here. Yeah.
So if each doctor is doing what, like 25 surgeries a day?
Yes.
Well, I think in the U.S. there's a limit to the surgeries a doctor can do to maintain the doctor's health.
Yes.
So isn't there a decrease in the quality of care that you're getting? If
But that should show up in the amount of successful heart surgeries that is happening, and that's what he's saying, that I am the best. Right?
Yes, in a certain period of time.
You just look at the success rate.
But over time, wouldn't it have a, I guess a negative effect on the doc? I mean, sure, you could do it for a short amount of time,
Yeah.
but over many, many years, I can't imagine.
This has been existing for 10 years now. Not 10 years, 15 years now. It's not happening. So he must be doing something very unique to ensure that the marginal utility is not getting down at some point of time. But there is no denying the fact that he is a slave driver. The doctors there, you heard him, they work 16 hours a day.
He himself is a slave.
He himself is a slave. I mean, he is like an enormous person, I mean, enormous amount of effort he puts in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm just wondering, like, is he superhuman or something? Because, like,
No, he is a superhuman, but he makes others also superhuman. I think that's very important. Right? That he inspires others to become superhuman.
Okay.
And, well, I mean, you can, so the question which I always ask myself is, someday this guy is not going to be there, right? So what is going to happen to Narayan Hridayalaya in the absence of a star like Dr. Devi Sethi? I don't have the answer. But till now, it seems to be doing something very, very interesting.
Are there multiple doctors there, or is it just...
Yeah. No, he doesn't do, in fact, today he doesn't even do a complete operation. So, because we happen to, run into each other many a times, and I was talking to him in March, which is like not so far, and I said, how many operations do you do daily? And he says, Professor, I don't do complete operations anymore, but I would get involved in at least 10 to 15 operations a day. So he was explaining to me the process, that it is only at the very critical stage, sometimes there are so much of complications happening that he is called in to just give them a little bit of advice. But other than that, he has a team of very efficient doctors there, so they kind of do that.
So is there like I don't know if you know this, but is there like concrete model pieces to like have the doctors work 16 hours a day and still be good quality? Like what does he do differently other than inspire them with like
Okay.
holding the board?
Okay, so there is an inspiration, sure.
Right.
There is very high degree of process there. Okay, so, and the third thing, and this is very, very important here. He says that in the traditional model of surgery, the surgeon gets involved into a lot of activities which can be done by a paramedic. Okay, so I will only involve the surgeon towards a very critical stage of the surgery. So that's how he has kind of created even the surgery model where the surgeon can be utilized a lot more. Okay, and actually he has borrowed this whole concept from another hospital which is not so far away from here called Arvind Eye Hospital. Okay, I'll probably show you a video around that. And the founder of that hospital, again, though not in heart surgery, but in eye surgeries, cataract surgery, that was his innovation. In terms of saying that you don't need the surgeon to be present all throughout the operation because there is considerable amount of time in making the patient ready and doing all kinds of stuff. So the surgeon, which is a very high cost resource for me, only comes and does the most critical part of it and just moves on to the next person. So they have a nice, what they call an assembly line, where patients are made ready at different stages and the surgeon keeps on doing the surgery. But as somebody might point out, is there a degradation that happens? Right? So that is of course part of the training. Again, think of it. Narayan Hridayalaya today, because of the fame and reputation that it has earned worldwide, it attracts a lot of young doctors. Okay, so if you are a doctor, if you are a young medical surgeon in the United States or United Kingdom, you would really want an experience from Narayan Hridayalaya. So those doctors come and do internships and 2-year stint, etc. So this whole thing that one person staying here for 15 years and hence getting very tired probably does not happen there. Streams of doctors from all over the world come here. Obviously they get trained a little bit, but they devote as much amount of time, maybe 2 years, 3 years. They have enough experience. They get 15 years of experience in 3 years and they go back to their country and start practicing. So now of course that is possible because he has become so famous.
Just one quick context also here. As you think of translating to something like this from US, in US context, think about at least a 2-step translation. So US is different, right? So the translation he's talking about usual hospitals here versus this hospital here. US, well, I don't know much about medical science, but what my friends tell me is that the US is years ahead, even from many Western European countries in terms of medical science and the ability of doctors to be able to translate that medical science, but not doing so well in terms of medical practice, right? Best practices in how to do that. So you also have to think that the doctors there are worried about lawsuits, not just how tired they are, but the perception of how tired they may be, and also there are these other things also.
I saw a few nights. Yeah.
I was wondering how much for both this social enterprise and for the life, how much effort goes into educating the client, or I guess for a child is getting heart surgery, how much effort goes into educating their parents?
Must be quite a bit. Must be quite a bit. Right. So especially on the solar light is more. Healthcare. Remember, the parent will go. They will at least reach the hospital. Beyond it, it really doesn't matter. The doctor takes care of it. So I mean, as a parent, I don't need to know what he's going to do and all. But for me, if you can take the child to Narayan Hridayalaya, doctor will take care of it. Selco, sure. I mean, there is considerable amount of education that you need to the client saying. But finally, it's economics that talks. So for a street vendor, education means what? You have to show him or her how he or she will earn more money by investing in that thing. So that's very important. Yes, ma'am.
I think also what you might be is recovery, essentially turnover. It's like a big problem in the US is that patients, there's no follow through after they're treated or they're seen. So I think maybe that's what he was asking, if not that's what I'm asking.
So you are saying that at such high rate of throughput of surgery, what happens to after care?
Right.
Is
after care, what's the follow through?
Okay. If you cut across most businesses that you will see in India, you will see that our single biggest strength is actually process. Think about IT services industry. What are we doing really? I mean, we are actually not creating new things, but you give us a blueprint and we will make it most efficient and keep on delivering it day in and day out. And that's the plus of our education, by the way. Right? That we are very good in picking up a blueprint and transferring it into a most efficient way of doing it. Think of IT services, think of pharmaceuticals, think of healthcare. Wherever a process can dominate, we do very well. Wherever you need creativity, we are not that great. Right? Most of the Indian education system is geared more towards efficiency, process following, rule following, than becoming out of the box thinker or creative. I mean, I think Indians more ways than one, learn to be a lot more creative when they go to other education systems. You know, when they go to US or other places, they say, wow, it's a very different way of looking at things. Whereas we are efficient taskmasters. You know, what are the 5? And that's what Devi City will come and tell you. That, hey guys, you don't need to innovate here. Everything about medical science today, and it's not about medical science, as he was talking about, it's delivery, right? Is about protocols and processes. Follow the protocols, follow the processes. It's very unlikely that you will go wrong. And I'm sure they will even have processes to monitor if the doctor is getting fatigued or not. And remember, these kind of surgeries are all done in teams. So you do have recovery mechanisms to make sure that if one of your colleagues is really feeling fatigued or maybe something emotional is striking him or her, then somebody else can take over. Yeah.
You mentioned the trainings for foreign doctors. I believe that these are not professional trainings as long as I believe that the foreign doctors are well educated, as long as they are being invited. So what kind of trainings are these and who funds these trainings? Are these?
No, these are all experiential. These are all, so they already have done their MBBS, so the medical as well as the degree in surgery, and then they come and start practicing here.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of a pure experiential training and no funding. I mean, they get paid for what they do, but they don't get paid anywhere close to what they would have earned money in the United States. And I don't think any of the doctors get paid overtime even for working 16 hours. That's the deal. But what are you gaining through? You are gaining experience. So you're saying, okay, this is an investment, another 2 years which I'm putting in Narayana so that I can earn my reputation. Because if you are getting a good certificate from this place, then you are very well known for in the domain. Yeah. Shall we? Okay. I think we are at 12:05. So do you want to see a different kind of sector, or do you want to see one more healthcare example? So I have Arvindai, which is again interesting, or you can see some other sector. Now I'll tell you the trade-offs, right? Obviously each of these you can go to the internet and look at it. That's no big deal. But when I show it, I kind of probably do a little bit of value addition by explaining the business model or what else. So where is the class more interested? If there is fatigue with healthcare, then we can move on to something else.
What's the other sector?
So there is a skills development video which I wanted to show you, which is a very unique experience called Barefoot College. Okay, it's a place in Rajasthan where they do a whole bunch of stuff, right? And it's a very self-sustainable society, where they do training and people get income, etc. So that's one more video which is not purely education, but it is more skills development. So that's one option I have.
Yeah.
Would you do barefoot? Okay. So Arvind I, go and see it on the internet. It's a very educative one again. Dr. V, he's no more, very inspirational figure. And that he is kind of the pioneer of this cross subsidy model. So let me go to Barefoot College again for my starting issues. I think this one, which is something very effective to provide. Again, this one is a service that you are providing to the poor. Right? So you're talking almost very similar things where the poor have very limited ability to pay, and hence I have to do some innovation to ensure that they are able to pay for that, or I can build a sustainable model. So did any of you pick up any similarity between this Gyanshala and Narayana Hridayalaya? I know it's a tough one because you had very little time to even spend with each of the models. Yes.
They both give rewards to the volunteers, let's say. They get experience which might be important for their further professional development.
But in Gyanshala, who are the volunteers? There are no volunteers there. I mean, there are, so so the teachers whom we have seen class 10th pass or class 12th and drawn from the community, it's very unlikely that unlike the doctors of Narayana Hridayalaya, they will go somewhere else and get a lot of leverage for their experience. So that is not working for them.
So they are doing this just for free?
No, they get paid. They get paid salary. Yeah.
I missed that.
Okay. Yeah?
They're both services that of course seek out that are offered for us for lower cost.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can't deny you that's a similarity, but that's probably a little bit obvious one. Yeah, in the business model, yeah.
I saw they said like Ganshala serves like over 20,000 students.
Yes.
And that's a lot of volume. So as a health hospital, there's so many services.
This is kind of a scalable model, you were saying. Okay. Yeah.
Is it because they come to the community? Like they're
Narayan Vidala doesn't come to you. You have to go to Narayan Vidala.
But don't get with the insurance.
In fact, location is a disadvantage for Narayan Vidala, right? I mean, if it were coming to you, then you would have to have lot of low-cost hospitals in the villages, which are there, but it's a very different model. You can't make it an affordable model like that. It has to be a very centralized model, and hence it has to be located
But
in
how
one
does the
place.
insurance program work with the hospital that they were talking about?
Okay, so insurance program is that it's like any other health insurance program, but insurance program is heavily cross-subsidized by the state government, right? So for the poor people, they get the insurance card. Yeah. Last speculation. I know it's getting into speculation, but
like high efficiency. I mean,
how you are close to that, but how are they getting the efficiency?
Well, the fact that the school is like 3.5 hours long and they go through like subjects like very quickly. And everything, I mean, just trying to have like I don't know. I just think there's high efficiency.
It's close to high efficiency. You are very, very close, but I was looking for something else. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was kind of going along the same lines, and also
Efficiency. Okay. What is the most expensive? Huh?
He hasn't completed his thought.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Just the fact that they're able to convince high-quality workers to work for a lower price.
They are not high-quality workers at all.
Well,
They are like community. You know, in that sense, quality. I'm not really saying something, but in the sense, these are class 10th pass community people. They would not be employed as teachers anywhere else. So not like the doctors in Narayan Vidala. You want to guess?
So one is here the hospital is centralized, this is decentralized, they work in the evening so they can do the day job also. The teachers.
Okay, but not the doctors. Okay. What is the most expensive resource if you are running a school?
Building here.
In India at least it is the teachers. Okay? The teachers is the more expensive resource. Okay, so now when you are creating something for the poor, you have to think about that, because now you are saying that how can I drive that more expensive resource so that it can be utilized by more and more people. Now what Gyanshala effectively is doing is that it is separating the teacher into two halves. So a teacher like Professor Ganguly, he designs the class and he delivers in the class. I also do the same, right? I mean that's the, now between the two, the design part is more the thought-oriented part. The classroom delivery is more an action part. What these guys are doing is they are separating the two. They are saying that I will only use educated people for design and the delivery would be done by low-cost resources. Its similarity with Narayan Hridalaya is that, as I told you, lot of the pre-processing is done by paramedics and the surgery is done by the surgeon. So there also, they are separating the process, saying high cost resource, the doctor is only needed for the most critical element of the job, other can be done by para-skilled people. So the principle that I am talking about is para-skilling. Both of them are utilizing that. Contexts are different. So that's what you see, that the teacher who is in the class is not very highly literate. Intentionally they have picked up some of them talking to in the video. You can see that they are not even following proper English grammar. But then that's fine. What effectively is happening is they are given every 5 minute by minute instructions. When you come to class, you spend the first 5 minutes doing this, next 5 minutes you do something else. So it's totally process oriented. Remember something I told you a little back, right? That the process part is very strong. But who are designing it? Those are the back-end thing that Pankaj was talking about. Okay, so again, I know it's a bit rushed. I don't want to burden you with too many of these concepts, but you look at that. We talked about cross-subsidy. We talked about para-skilling. But just to, okay, one more question. What is the key difference between Gyanshala and Barefoot College? Or let me simplify it. Which one do you think is more important? Skill building or education? And you can't say both. Okay, when you say skill building, why do you say that?
I would say because for a lot of these people, since they're coming from low-income households, they're looking for a direct application to a job.
Okay. So generating income, right? So there is a big debate in the development world that what should you do, right? So if you don't have income, then probably that's the most important thing you should cater to. Hence, skill building becomes very important. That am I giving you the skills so that you can go and earn a living, make yourself financially sustainable. Yes?
I think skill building allows, if like you use skill building and then you can earn an income, that allows for the opportunity to earn a full education in the future.
Sure. I mean, what will typically happen is probably you will educate your children because you are probably beyond that age where you can probably get education. But skill building becomes a very short-term necessity. You have something to add?
First of all, India is a young nation, so
okay.
most population is young. So I think that giving access to education is more important because.
So you are on the education side.
Yeah, but because this skill things, the
Barefoot College, yeah.
Yeah, these are for the people who did not have access on time.
Great. So they're already grown ups.
They're already grown ups.
Yeah.
But like India has young population which would better have education and not need those barefoot skill colleges in the future rather than give them the skill. Because like if they can do elementary things like count their money, like have access to credits and stuff like that, they won't need to like go to these skill colleges.
So it's I don't think I have the answer to this question that which one is more important, right? And that's very context specific, that very specific to the family that you're talking about. If you don't have food on the table, then maybe skills and income is very important, right? But as you're pointing out that if there are children, then obviously they're not going to earn income, so you better give them education. So which brings us, okay, I see a few hands. Okay, go ahead.
My question is, what does this particular school prepare them for? In terms of like, we're just seeing in the video all these adorable little children.
Yeah, so they're teaching from standard 3 to standard 7.
Okay.
So they enable them to get into the formal system of education. Okay, because many of these kids, you will realize that they have not got the education they should get when they are 3 years old, 4 years old. So they struggle to get into formal system of education. Even if they get into, they will not pass those tests, scores. Whereas what happens is when you, from Gyanshali, you move into a regular school, you are equipped enough to get into mainstream. Okay. So, what does education do to us? What is the most important purpose of education? What is the purpose of education?
Gives us money.
If that is it, then skills building is a lot better, isn't it?
No.
Obviously, it gives us more money. Then you should.
Yeah, in terms of India, yeah.
Yeah, everywhere it is true.
I would not.
Well, everywhere it is
you
true.
have skills, you get paid for your skills.
Yeah, but like when you have educational basis, you develop your skills better.
No, not necessary. Most of us are very unskilled in doing certain stuff, like fixing this OHP, whatever. Ask yourself, what's the purpose of education? It's a slightly deeper one. Think about it. Yeah? If it is earning income, probably skill building is a lot better. But there is something deeper that education does to us. What does it do?
It gives opportunity.
Fantastic, right? So it gives us choices.
Yeah.
It enables us to have choices, right? So it gives us the freedom to choose. So that's a very fundamental need for development. Right? That's what the developmental economics like Amartya Sen would be talking about. It's important. But we have to figure out that if there is no food on the table, then what is more important? Is choices or food? And sometimes we might have to choose for food. Right? So yes, the actual answer is both are important, but we should understand for whom are we talking about. Right? Is it that income is so important, or are we talking about future? Remember, the skills that you are giving in Barefoot College, you are also locking probably those people into that particular trajectory. Right? So I have trained you to be a solar technician. It's likely that that's all you will do all throughout your life. So you're able. So even if you hate being a solar technician after 3 years, I think your ability to switch tracks would be very, very limited. You and me have that choices. Why? Because we were privileged enough. We are privileged enough to get one of the best educations. So both are needed, but at different points of time, depending upon the economic conditions. I saw another hand. No? Okay. Quickly. one last one I would like to talk about is that among the various sets of social entrepreneurs that we are seeing, I will classify them into two parts. One is relating to life needs and other is to livelihood needs. This is for income. This is for providing inputs to you so that you can, develop yourself much better to be self-sufficient. Okay, so when we talk about healthcare, education, all of these are life needs for me. It will make me very important later on to become productive, but it doesn't immediately give me income. When we are talking about, what we say, skills building, microfinance, we are talking about livelihood needs. Solar energy can belong to either of the two places. If solar energy helps you to get better education because you don't have light in your home, so you can't study, then it obviously becomes life needs, but it doesn't translate into additional income for you. If solar energy enables you to run your restaurant for more than 4 hours, then that enables you to have larger income. So now among the two, this is much harder to create business models around that, because here there is an income stream attached. With a little bit of adjustment here and there, you will see a lot of sustainable business models happening in the livelihood needs space. But if you want to cater to healthcare, education, unless and until you are able to do something like Devi City, which is not very common, you are likely to still follow the subsidy model, the philanthropy model. So the way I would look at it is that, yes, there is a space for social enterprises to build business models, but that doesn't mean that there is no space for the NGO or the not-for-profit model. I mean, there is space for both. Now it's for us to decide which one will be more suitable for what kind of activities. That's where I will end.
The Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, is known to be one of the world's best business school. And as you can see, there is a reason why this guy gets the best teacher awards from that school. This is overall across the Indian Institute of Management. So this was great. And one other thing is, the only time I have seen him so animated in recent years, I'll not talk about history. But in recent years, the only time I have seen him so much animated is when he talks about his marathon running. So you guys did something today. You guys were excellent. Good round of applause to all of you. All right. So let's say we meet at 2:30 after lunch. Where?
No.
The initial plan was to meet at 2, but I have overshot.
If we meet at 2, we'll end soon.
We'll end sooner.